Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, and I'll know you can hear me. So once again, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a little trouble getting in here today, but we are ready to go. And I'm going to cover a little old ground and cover a little new ground, but I do want to start with your questions. So while you write your questions in there, I'm going to place the live link here inside of the Facebook group. And any questions that you might have, just go ahead and write them there in the box there. And I'll be happy to start with any of your questions. So let's, I'm going to go ahead and also put this in the Facebook page. Hey, any questions? Any questions that you'd like to see me cover here tonight? As I said, I do have a few things I do want to talk about. And I am going to do those things. But short of that, though, I would like to know what questions you have. And I know it's kind of an interesting time, you know, in what we're doing. And okay, so I've got all the links in the right places. Let's go ahead and get started. So what I'll say here tonight is that, you know, the Q&A calls are your call. And if you have any questions, please just go ahead and just write them in there. Interrupt me if possible. And then I will we'll look to get out of here by 9:41. I started late because of the technical difficulties. So we will move forward. And I'm going to cover a little old ground here. What I want to talk about tonight, to some degree, excuse me, is a question that I got from one of the folks inside of the Ultimate Insider. And what we're talking about here is, you know, so his question was, lots of Black Friday deals are available. And there are going to be a lot of deals available, a lot of cut pricing between now and the end of the year. Now, probably I'm gonna tell you my thought again on cutting pricing. Maybe I'll do that next week, but because now is really the time when you and I should be planning on, so that we don't have to cut pricing. I will tell you my thought about that probably in next week's Q&A call if we don't have any extensive questions. But the question was, well, Charles, I've got a lot of Black Friday offers in front of me. You know, they're drastically discounted or discounted. They're difficult to either resist. And how do you decide on what it is to buy and what it is not to buy? And I'm going to talk about that tonight, because to some degree, it's not just to say no to everything. It's not say yes to everything. It's not to unsubscribe from all the marketing lists. It's also not to spend your time looking at everything. And so there's some middle ground, and it's not vague, right? The strategy that you can employ during Black Friday to help you to build your business. It's pretty specific, and it's going to make sense to you when we go through it. So let's talk about this. So the first thing I'm going to suggest you do is first think through your framework, right? Think through your framework. In other words, we need to kind of start thinking about creating a plan for how you want to make money. Now, my words were very specific when I said that. How do you want to make money in 2017? How do you want to? I'm not saying based on how you think the market is doing, where you think the niche is. I'm saying, how do you want to make money? And I want you to think about that specifically, because that is really what you gravitate toward. You and I gravitate toward. And believe it or not, folks, when we actually buy things in the internet marketing business, we tend to buy the things that we want, and we tend to buy the things we want to do for the way we want to make money. Would you say that's true? I found that to be the case. So what I'm suggesting here is at the beginning of 2017, right now, right? It's 2017 for all intents and purposes has already started. So you and I have to start creating a plan for how we want to make money in 2017. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing right now. It's probably not what you're doing right now. You're probably generating cash flow right now. You're probably paying bills right now. You're probably making sure that your business is profitable right now, which is cool. I mean, that's what a business is supposed to do. But I want you and I to start thinking about how do we act. We want to create a budget for how we want to make money. Right. And I'm not talking about right now the things that you and I buy from month to month. This is a sensitive subject because it sort of gets to one of these things that, when it comes to buying things, right? We like to buy the things that we think are going to do well or we think we're going to be able to use. And we tend to buy the things we want. We just don't necessarily budget for them in the business. And I'm not talking about your household budget. I'm talking about your how you want to make money budget. How you want to make money budget. I'm not even talking about your practical budget, the budget that you're talking about that operates your business. I'm saying based on what you want to do, how much is it going to cost and how are you going to pay for it? Now, what I want you to do here at the beginning, right? Regardless of what your plan is, regardless of how you want to make money, I'm going to suggest that you budget in a planner, right? Did you budget in a planner? That's however you write your to-do list. I suggest you, I'm going to suggest you spend a little money on this, a to-do list. Even if you blow a little more on this than you're comfortable with, writing down things, putting it in front of you, something nice to write it down in, makes sense, right? Project management. In other words, if you have something like Basecamp and a place to write your projects down and to manage your projects, you and I need to spend a little money on this, not because, and trust me, I am not the guy that's here to say spend money on everything and just go get the most expensive thing and get the premium tools. That's not me. But what I will say is that this money that I'm talking about right now will undergird everything else you spend. Right? If you're sort of like skimping here on your planner, on your to-do list, however you manage your business or your life, and you manage the projects, where internet marketers get stuck, the biggest jump you're going to make in your internet marketing business from maybe the first level where you're starting to generate commissions, you're starting to generate income, you're starting to see it where it's actually coming in, where you're no longer surprised at the fact that you are able to make sales, to actually getting them where you want to go. The difference between that level and this level is planning. And the difference between planning and not planning is being able to have it visually in front of you and being able to manage projects. Internet marketing at some level, once you understand what you want to do, it's project management. That's all it is. Well, do I want to outsource or do I not want to outsource? Do I want to do this part? Do I not want to do this part? Because here's what happens to the best of us, to the worst of us. We look up in 3 months and the project that we wanted to start, it never got started. It's not because you don't work hard. It's because it never got planned and it's not in front of you. How many of you all know what I'm talking about? If you can relate to what I just said, please put the number 2 in the question box, right? So what I'm suggesting to you, right? Even as you get things, even as you buy things, even as you start to plan out your budget, it's project management. And so what you and I have to be able to do before and after we spend is to put something in place that is solid when it comes to project management. Okay, now, that being said, let's kind of go through this thing. I've done some of this before, but I do want to kind of give you a different perspective on this. And that is, how are we going to buy for internet marketing business, right? So how do I decide what it is I'm going to spend money on, right? How do I decide whether or not to buy this software program versus that software program? How do I decide on that? Well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what my own business model is. In other words, I want to make sure that I'm always spending money on my USP. Why? Because when I spend money on my USP, the return on that is exponential. In other words, when you begin to spend money and invest money in the thing that makes your business unique, what that does is you get an exponential rate of return. If you decide you're going to buy courses this year, you're going to buy courses on, let's say, copywriting, but it doesn't necessarily help you in your USP, right? Then that course is not going to bring you, not only are you probably not going to read it or look at it, it's not going to bring you money in the area in which you are going to make the most money, right? So what I'm saying is that you want to begin to start thinking about spending money on your USP. What makes your business unique? Why is it that people why is it that people buy from you and not from anybody else? You and I need to begin to spend, you have to spend money on the things that make your business unique. Now, also, upsells and cross sells. We've got to spend money on being able to bring people through a marketing funnel. We have to be able to spend money in order to build our list. Whether or not, I don't, doesn't matter how many autoresponders you have. If you need 3 of them, you need 3 of them, right? If you have 3 autoresponders because they do 3 different things, you need to get 3 autoresponders, folks. If your autoresponder doesn't do the thing you want to do, but you want this other list over here, do something special, don't even hesitate in getting a different one. Right? List building is important. Segmenting your list is important. Having those lists available to you for different ways, different purposes, different deliverability is vital. And typically what happens is we'll spend money on everything else. We just won't spend money on the things that will actually, again, build a solid foundation, joint ventures, right? Relying on JVZoo and Warrior Plus in order to manage your affiliates, bad deal. Right? Not because they're a bad business. It's because if your affiliates only exist in JVZoo and Warrior Plus, whose affiliates are they? Are they your affiliates? That's the question. And again, they are an affiliate network. Every time that someone buys a product from you on JVZoo, you pay a 5% fee. You are paying them for their software. You are paying them for the service of managing your affiliates. Now, that does not mean that you won't have affiliates if you don't use their system. In fact, the system almost makes it so that you and I don't have to manage the relationships because the system pays them and the system brings them the money. I'm going to contend to you that eventually, I'm not saying that you got to go out and get it tomorrow. I'm saying that you and I have to have our own way to manage our own affiliates, right? And that's something that you and I have to look forward to. Now, paid advertising. If we don't have the tools and the training to do it, we have to get it, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I mean, everybody on this call, you already know you and I need to be spending the money there. We've got to do it. Direct marketing, which is copywriting. Whether you pay someone or whether you do it yourself, we have to understand what good copywriting is, and if you will get an exponential return on your investment again on copywriting. The better your headlines are on social media, the better your emails are, the better your sales pages are, the better your blog posts are, the better your videos are in terms of copywriting. You will get more clicks, you will get more traffic, you will make more money, right? So getting better at copywriting is not an option. We have to invest in that. We have to plan for that. We have to look for the very best deals available to help us to get better at copywriting. We must do that every single month, every single year. We have to plan, right? We have to plan to be better at copywriting all the time as internet marketers. Why? Because internet marketing is nothing else except for people reading something on a page, people reading something on their screen and deciding to click because you told them to, right? And if we're not getting better at that all the time, then all that's going to happen is that we get to this point where, I mean, people just find other things they're interested in, right? They just find. People are not rational. Your customers, right? Your customers are not rational. You may think they are, but they're not. And so what will happen is they might gravitate toward the more exciting thing, even if they like you more. How many of you all have ever had a customer tell you, right? Well, I like you, right? But this guy got it to me first. This lady got it to me first. I mean, I really would have liked to have gotten it from you, but they got to me first. So what I'm saying to you is that we have to be better at copywriting all the time. Now, internet marketing is SEO and social media. We got to get better than that. So again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I really want to get to kind of move on. Let's see. Dana has a question. What kind of project management tools do I like best and why? Okay, great question. Dana, I personally like two, actually three. One is Basecamp. Right? Basecamp has, and you can get some of the older plans, I think, for something like $10 or $20 a month. And they have plans available that will allow you to just manage your projects and make them visible. Now, there are a lot of them out there. Basecamp, I have found to be the most user-friendly, and it's easy when I want to outsource. Wunderlist, right, is a to-do list. Now, again, and all these things can go on your mobile device too, depending on whether or not you use iOS or Windows or whatever the case. I like Wunderlist. Wunderlist keeps my to-do list right in front of me. And yes, there is some overlap with Basecamp, but it keeps it in front of me. I like Evernote, right? And Evernote, all I really do is with Evernote is I file away the things that I write down on my paper planner and my paper notebook. And for my paper notebook, I like the Volt Planner, which is just the old Spark Notes, and I like the Moleskine Journal. So I guess there are 5: Moleskine Journal, the Volt Planner or Spark Notes, Wunderlist, Basecamp, and I guess that's it. Right, so those are the ones that I personally use, and I found that, and Evernote, right, and Evernote. Now that combination of things allows me to kind of keep track of everything, right, and it allows me to be consistent across those things. There are probably tools that do it a lot better, but those companies are going to be around for a little while. I can add my wife and children to them on certain projects. I can keep them off other projects, and so everything's right there. If I need to bring in the person that does my graphics, if I got to bring them into a project, I can bring them in on those things. If I got to bring the writer in, if I got to do that, I can bring them in on those things. So that is what I like those tools in general. Okay, so does that make sense, Dana? So again, Evernote, Wunderlist, Basecamp, paper for paper and pencil, Spark Notes or Volt Planner, and Moleskine Journal. Right, those are my go-to project management tools. Okay, so educational marketing, webinar tools. Webinar tools these days are cheap. Right, my partners and I, we did one called Webinar Fusion Pro. You can go to Webinar. I think I still pay GoToWebinar for, I think I only pay $80 a month. Folks, you got to get a webinar system. And I realize, yes, you can do YouTube Live and Facebook Live and all that stuff. We are not at that point yet where you are going to be able to keep a captured audience and educate people on a regular basis just using YouTube Live. I mean, I think YouTube Live is fantastic, but we are still in the webinar. We are still in webinar world. Right, and webinar systems are cheap. You can get any one of them out there that's going to fit you and use it. But we have to be educating people now. And publication marketing, which is just getting your stuff on Kindle, getting your stuff into products, getting your stuff into places where people can consume them asynchronously. In other words, I don't have to be there in order to make the money. So we have to be able to buy for these things. So let's go through these things. So my first question is going to be to anybody. Can you create, sell, and deliver your basic product or service? Right? And here's what I mean by that. Number one, do you have hosting? Right? And I meet a number of people all the time that kind of buy their hosting ad hoc. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you get an idea and you buy a domain name, and you sort of buy into that. At some point, though, I'm going to recommend that you start thinking about either getting some kind of virtual private server or some kind of dedicated server. And the reason is because when you need to just add on a website, and you got to go get the hosting, and then you got to wait for the domain name. You have to put all these things together. You will lose time. Sometimes you can lose a day and a half trying to put a website together when you have to go buy hosting. You got to buy a new domain, and you got to connect the two. You can lose a day and a half. Right? When you already have hosting and you just get used to making the payment, I mean, you can get a virtual private server sometime for as little as $30 or $40. Right? As long as you have a reliable host, that $30 or $40 will save you time. And so what happens is if you have to go and get ad hoc hosting, you end up paying more. Right? You end up paying more because those programs are designed to kind of get you in the door. You buy 10 websites from HostGator because you have 10 domain names. I guarantee you're probably paying as much as somebody who has a virtual private server on a monthly basis. I can almost guarantee you are. Right? So hosting you have to have. And so you have to plan to buy hosting, a shopping cart. Now, why do you have to have a shopping cart? You need a shopping cart because you and I need to be able to sell to people, number one. And when you sell to people, right? We've already talked about this. When you sell to people, sometimes what's going to happen is you are going to then need to be able to offer some kind of one-time offer. You're going to need to be able to offer a one-click upsell. If you can't offer that because you're using PayPal, then you're missing out. The other thing is your shopping cart also collects your lead and delivers them into your autoresponder. Again, you can do that manually through PayPal, but it is a pain in the neck. And once again, you were losing time when you do this. So what I'm saying to you is that at some point, I'm not saying tomorrow, but I'm saying part of your marketing strategy has to be, you and I have to be looking for the right shopping cart, the right one. And yeah, you might have to spend $200 or $300, and it might feel like, well, I just spent $200 or $300 and I don't have anything yet. But look, when you forfeit, right, an upsell because you don't have a shopping cart, right, or because you've got to pay the fee to somebody who does, really, one of the reasons why people use JVZoo and Warrior Plus, once again, please do not think I'm bashing them. I'm just saying to you that what they do, and the reason that you pay the 5% fee is because they're able to put people through upsells and downsells. But if you have a shopping cart and you can do that yourself, you will not be paying 5% to somebody over the course of the year. If you start thinking about 5%, let's say that you hit your goal. Let's say that you hit your income goal. Let's say your income goal, let's say you do 1,000 true fans, your income goal is $100,000. You know what you're going to pay in fees if you do that $100,000 entirely on another site? That means you're going to spend $5,000 to be on another platform. Now, it may not sound like a lot, but I guarantee you, when you get down to December and you like to have $5,000, you will be thinking about whether or not some of that could be spent on a shopping cart that'll manage it for you. And then when you start thinking about it in that way, $300 or $400 for a shopping cart really is not a big deal. Right? It sounds like a big deal when you got to bite the bullet up front, but it's not a big deal when you start thinking about the fact that you're paying a fee to whoever it is, whether it's Zaxa, whether it's Warrior Plus, whether it's JVZoo. And again, please don't think I use them myself because when they serve my purpose, but you're not want to rely on them. And so if you don't have a shopping cart that'll handle your upsells, that'll handle your downsells, handle your cross sells, that'll deliver people into your autoresponder, that'll integrate with your webinar system, that what's happening is you are giving up income every time somebody buys from you. How many of y'all understand what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying right there, please put the number 2 in the question box. If you understood what I said and how I meant it. Right. So really, at some point, and again, please don't go out and get a shopping cart tomorrow just because I told you to get one. What I am saying is that we have to plan for that That's part of your infrastructure. It's part of the way you want to do business. It is like having your office chairs, all the other stuff that you need to have for your business in order to maximize your income. A page building system. Some of you all have Genius Marketing Pro, some of you all have Optimized Press, and some of us don't have any. And so at some point, it doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter which one you get. You have to get the one that works for you, but you got to have one. And when you have one, what happens is you're going to start creating products faster. Probably the single biggest hurdle for people is the fact that they can't make a decent enough page to do what they want to do fast enough. And so the way that you overcome that is that you can get a page building system. Lead Pages, Genius Marketing Pro. I have Genius Marketing Pro and Optimized Press. And again, what that means is that I can build a page on demand. Right? I can build a page whenever I want to, for whatever purpose I want to, and I've invested time into learning that. And so if you can create and sell and deliver your basic product, if you don't have a paging system that you use every day, you have to get one if you're going to be an internet marketer. Right? And if you haven't planned for that, then that is something that you have to plan for. Turning your Word documents into PDFs. Once again, I know there are free systems out there, and I'm all for that. I'm saying though that you know, I've gone down the road of, well, you know, the trial ran out 30 days ago, and this thing only works when you go online. And look, whether you get Microsoft Word, I think it does it, Adobe Acrobat, whatever you got to get. Being able to reliably turn Word documents into PDF is a must in internet marketing, and you and I have to have the tools. And again, the question is, can you create, sell, and deliver your basic product and service? If you don't, you got to have these things: a mic, a headset, and a sound card, and a graphic solution. Now, these are entry-level things that you have to have, that you must buy, that you need to have in order to do business. Now you can outsource everything. Trust me. Yet you can outsource the graphics. You can outsource your sales videos. You can outsource the you can outsource you can outsource everything. However, right, you and I need a decent mic and a headset, or whatever it is you use to talk and project sound over the internet. Now, if you haven't spent any money on that, you and I have to be able to put those things in place. A graphic solution. Now, I think these days, Photoshop used to be cost prohibitive, right? Photoshop used to be $8,000 or $1,000. Now you can get Photoshop for $10 a month. Now, if you're not doing your own graphics, wonderful. Or if you have something like Usign, but you've got to have something. And so again, if these are not the things that you have in place, I can almost tell you that they are getting in your way when you are ready to create a product. They are in your way if you don't have them. And so you and I, we have to plan for these things. We have to put them in place. We have to get them into our business. And again, I'm not saying that they are all going to instantly put money in your pocket. What I am saying is that not having them keeps us from moving forward and making money. Now, this is obviously not you know, the software, turnkey software that's going to make you millions, but these things are getting in your way if you don't have them. Right? We talked about having a USP. And again, let's see, it's about oh my goodness, it's about 9:37. I'm going to have to pick this up on Wednesday or Tuesday. I'll pick this up on Tuesday because I really do want to get through this. I had no idea I was going to go this long. So my apologies. This whole thing is probably, I think, boy, I don't even know if I'm even close. I think I've got about 12 slides, and I'm just on slide 2. So, rather than kind of keep you here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan this out and just take my time and do this. I really want to get through this entire thing because I want to answer the question of the person who submitted it to me. Right. And this is really one of the guys who is in my coaching group. So, I will complete this. I think on Tuesday night. It's 9:38 already. and I don't want to keep you too much longer. So why don't we stop here? Let's break right here, because again, I've got about 10 more slides, and if you have any other questions, why don't you write them here in the box? Let's see. Dana's got a question here. Have I ever used Trello? Yes, I have used Trello. In fact, I've used Trello to I've used Trello to what did I do? For JV management, right? I've used Trello for JV management. So yes, I do not use it on an everyday basis. My wife Laurel does, right? She likes to use Trello, and but personally, I just have not found that it works. But Trello is a good way to manage projects, right? And I know a number of people who do. So I would advocate for Trello in probably in place of something that I'm using if it works for you. Absolutely. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? So again, yeah, this kind of went on a little longer than I thought, and it's going to take a little while. It's 9:40 right now, and if I do this entire thing, it'd probably go a lot longer than 30 minutes. Probably go an hour. I can see going an hour and 30 minutes on this, and which I don't want to do tonight. And so I will figure out another way to get you this content to you. Either I'll record it and get it out to you, or we'll finish it up on Tuesday evening for the PLR show. But any questions? Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Okay, two things that I want to encourage you to take a look at is number one, if you are not, if you are just kind of a little stuck, or you just get stuck every so often, I do have a group of people, and all of their questions are always at the front of the line. So so I want to encourage you to look at our coaching program, the Ultimate Insiders. Everybody moves to the front of the line routinely. These are the emails I answer. These are the emails that I will answer on a timely basis. And really it's designed for the person who really just doesn't, you sort of know what you want, sort of know what you want to do, and sometimes you just need a little bit of help. Of course, we do add in, one product a month. We've added in more than that, actually, and then we just started putting in a learning library. So I just put in some information there on Facebook ads and some other stuff. So we're constantly building it up for the folks who are in it. Make sure that you check it out, gainmindshare.com/coaching. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? And then I'm going to put a link here. We also today released our crowdfunding project. Let me. I'm gonna actually skip to the end on here, and we're gonna put this right back up there. So this crowdfunding project plugin, it's a really cool thing. Take a look at it. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little webinar on Monday. I'm going to show you how to promote the site once you get it. I'm going to show you how to do that using YouTube. Something really cool that you can actually do with this plugin. You're raising funds for whether or not it's for a personal thing, or whether or not you're out raising funds for your business. Right, really doesn't matter. It really turns your site into a crowdfunding site. And you might have something you don't want to do. You don't want to do on what is it? You don't want to do on GoFundMe, right? you put something on GoFundMe, it automatically kind of has a stigma attached to it. And so there's some things you don't want to do on there. And some things aren't really ready for Kickstarter. And so this is a good middle ground. You can actually do the whole thing on your site. Awesome, Dana. Awesome. Yeah, I really think this thing is really cool. I really do. And I'm going to show you how to promote the site on Monday, right? So for those of you who pick it up, now it's not going to be discounted for a while. I mean, our plugins go for $37. Right now it's less than that. But when the discount's gone, it's gone. And I won't even hesitate to say that. So, and I can't make any exceptions on that. This plugin's worth way more than that. And it's right now it's 37. It's less than 37. So you want to get it now. So everybody, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you all being here on Saturday night. And we will pick this up in another call, or I will record the content and get it out to you. Okay, everybody. So thank you very much for being here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.